What's going on, everyone? My name is Alex from Anime Convention Video, and I'm here with Kyle Herbert, and he is a legendary voice actor in the anime and video game community. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
All right. Hi, I'm Kyle. I'm a Los Angeles-based voice actor. I started on Dragon Ball Z as the voice of the narrator in Teen Gohan, and through the years I've gotten other shows such as Naruto. I voiced Kiba, Aizen on Bleach, Ryu in Street Fighter, Kamina on Gurren Lagann, and many, many more.
Awesome. Well, we have a few questions, but very detailed questions that we would love to ask you. So starting off from the top, when performing a character, is it more important for you to do it in the way that feels most right to you, or do you think it feels important to echo your Japanese counterpart's performance?
Here's an interesting, myth busters thing to the aspect of doing anime dubs. When we audition, we don't get to hear the original performance in context. So we're seeing a script that shows a picture of the character, a description of them, and some lines that show a range of emotion. So we have to just rely on ourselves as actors to come up with what we feel is appropriate. As if we were the director, it's like, this is what I envision the character to be. Now, from there, we could get directed differently once we're in the booth actually doing the audition, and they could say, well, the character in Japanese is more like this, and maybe, but they won't necessarily play it for you unless you book the role. When you book the role, then you hear the performance line by line with a Japanese preview right before you do that. There's no rehearsal. There's no getting the script ahead of time. There's no, hey, watch the episode so you know what happens. Because time is of the essence and time is money, the director will just catch you up to speed on what the character's doing, what the episodes, and then you're off and running. So it's like an assembly line. It's like preview, and you read your line and go. So during the preview, you're kind of looking the line over and kind of getting an idea of how the lip flaps work and everything. But in terms of choosing where you're going with the character, that's really up on the client side and the director, and your job as the actor is, of course, to take direction. And I said, well, I have to please you. I'm here to give you the performance you're looking for. Sometimes they say we want it. They'll say, oh, the client, like Viz, for example, they want this to mimic the Japanese performance of Aizen in Bleach. So luckily, that's what I gave them. Without even hearing it in Japanese, I gave them this very calm, friendly sort of voice. And in Japanese, it's very similar, very low, calm, and all that stuff. I guess that's why I got the part, which is awesome. Just happenstance. But a different thing happened with Gurren Lagann, where I'm Kamina. His performance was big and boisterous and deep, but his character's 17. So I was told by Aniplex to take the character and young him up, as they say, skew younger, because his character is 17. So I just basically use my Gohan voice, and there we are, like, who the hell do you think I am? You know, all that sort of thing. So that was a controversial choice because the otaku is like, he doesn't sound manly enough. And I'm like, well, I have to do what the client asks me to, first of all. Second of all, the character's 17, not 40. So, but yeah, I mean, the choice isn't up to me in terms of what to do on the final product. I have to just, take the direction. Once they're happy with that, if we nail it in one take, great. If it takes 2 or 3, great. If it takes 5 to 10, whatever. But we try to bang out, 20, 30 loops an hour. A loop being a line of dialogue or a sound like a huh or a fight sound, some sort of effort sound. So we're just time is of the essence.
That is awesome. Going with what you said earlier with, some people being angry with English dubbing, how do you feel personally towards all the hatred that voice actors get sometimes for their work in English dubbing? Like, how does that affect you and your work personally?
Okay, well, I guess the snarky short answer is, at least I get paid. My check clears whether you like it or not. That's kind of a douchey answer, but true. I mean, again, I'm doing what is asked of me in the booth. So if someone says, Kyle, why'd you do this? Why did you ruin this character? It's like, no, I did my job. My job is to do what I'm told. But at the end of the day, I don't get the haters now. I don't get the vibe. It's just like this weird internet mob mentality where it's just like, it's cool and hip because everyone else is doing it, so we're going to hate it because it's English. Guys, it's okay if you don't want to watch it. Watch it the way you want to watch it, but you don't have to be a jerk to the other side. Mainstream America, for example, doesn't like reading subtitles. I kind of half-jokingly say it's like if I wanted to read anime, I'd buy manga. I'd rather watch the animation and hear it in my native language so I can appreciate the animation and not be spending my entire time reading while something interesting is happening on screen with a character. Now, that's not me bashing people who prefer it in Japanese. I'm saying watch it in original Japanese if you want to. But there's no point. There's no point in hating on the other side. I think as a creator, if you were the creator of this show with millions of dollars and manpower and everything to get this done and out there into the world, you would want it to appeal to as many people as possible. That's what Japan does with their shows. They bring it over to here. And, for example, the watering down of shows, the censorship of shows, as controversial a move as that is, the way our government is set up, yes, they're broadcast standards. If this show is going to be marketed towards children, then you have to edit out cigarettes and you have to change the names or this, that, and the other, and obviously edit out the violence and all that. But I see the editing of anime as a big commercial to go out and seek the uncut, which 9 times out of 10 you can get legit. You can buy nowadays. It's a great time to be an anime fan. You can get official downloads everywhere, streaming officially, Funimation, Aniplex, all over the place. Toonami. There's lots of great. It's the best time to be an anime fan for English and Japanese. Netflix offers, Attack on Titan right now. You can watch it the entire run in Japanese. Meanwhile, the first box set just came out with the English dub also on there, as well as the Japanese. So there's options. And as long as there's always been options, I think there's just no excuse for fans to just hate on something. I get you have a preference. That's great. Okay. Go watch it the way you want to. Let me enjoy it the way I want to. I don't hate you because you like it a certain way. I just don't like the attitude. I want attitudes to change. With the invention of DVD in the late 90s, and you could select subtitled English, that argument should have died a long time ago.
That was a fantastic response. Going on to something, I guess, a little bit lighter. Are you an anime fan yourself? And if so, which ones that you did not work in appeal to you the most? And why do they appeal to you the most?
Okay. I go back to being an anime fan since I was born in the late 60s. And in the 70s, I had Speed Racer, and I had Battle of the Planets and Star Blazers. And in high school, I had Robotech and Voltron. And then Vampire Hunter D, Akira, Ghost in the Shell, all this stuff, and then obviously Dragon Ball Z. But shows that really also made an impact on me that really I was able to help turn my non-anime friends onto. Cowboy Bebop, Full Metal Alchemist. These two shows where the characters and the animation, obviously beautiful animation, but the characters and the stories were so much more intricate than your standard Saturday morning fare. Now, I'm a huge cartoon fan, but I will freely admit that most cartoons are just crap. And, they're cookie cutter and the animation's very simple and all that stuff. And, now the spectrum is widening with things that appeal to more adults and everything with Adult Swim and everything. But the animation's not as pretty. I like, the intricacy and the detail of anime. And obviously the characters are much more well-defined. And the story, I could tell that even as a kid watching Battle of the Planets, Star Blazers. And I know Speed Racer was completely fabricated in English, but watching that, I could tell it's like, this is a deeper ongoing drama thing, for example, with Star Blazers or Battle of the Planets, where it's like, this is cool. This is not like everything's wrapped up in a nice little tiny bow at the end of the episode in like a Saturday morning Spider-Man or something like that. As fun as those are, this seemed a little bit deeper. So I've always considered myself, I'm a casual fan, but I'm a huge animation fan. I'm not one of those guys who clearly delineate. I don't think calling anime a cartoon is an insult. I know some people get very snippy about that, but what is anime? It's Japanese cartoons. Cartoon's not a bad word. Cartoon doesn't automatically imply that it's for kids only. Obviously, there's hentai. Obviously, there's a different market. There's a different culture that accepts. These stories are told. Everything for little kids all the way up to nasty old perverts. There's something for everybody.
That was a great response. What work have you done that you were the most proud of, and which one have you done that you were the least proud of?
Well, I'm thankful as an actor for anything, really. I mean, we're freelance. We're like homeless people. It's like, I'll take anything. Come on. Something that, my most proudest moment in everything, I could argue, it goes back and forth between this. being on Dragon Ball Z and the momentum from that has led to everything else since then, like a domino effect. Obviously, I have a career thanks to that show. But things that have really, really impacted my life from a personal standpoint, getting to do Ryu or Ryu, tomato, tomato. Capcom told me it's Ryu, so I go with that pronunciation. But Ryu from Street Fighter, when he appeared on Wreck-It Ralph, he has a cameo for like 2 lines. So it's like, I got to be in a Disney movie, which is another childhood dream. It's like, I want to do cartoon voices. I want to be in a Disney movie. And then I got to do that. And it's like this weird loophole because I got to be an iconic video game character. I'm a gamer as well, casual gamer, but still the impact, the pop culture sensation that is Street Fighter, that's like blew my mind away. That Capcom says, hey, you're the new English voice actor. I'm not the first, but I'm the current, and hopefully I will be from here on out with new game series, and hopefully they'll make a Wreck-It Ralph too. It'd be nice if he came back, but definitely my proudest moment. My least proud moment, I wouldn't say there's anything that I hated, but I play pointless characters all the time, guys that don't really have any impact, bit parts that just like, and then you're dead. Or whatever. It's like, I have no time to connect, but I bring it back around. It's like, there's nothing really negative about this. I'm being called to come in and play a character. Doesn't matter what I look like. That's another huge perk to voice acting. There's no script memorization because your script's always in front of you. And it's very focused. And the people I work with, my colleagues, my friends in the industry, are so funny and laid back, and they're just amazingly talented. So this is the coolest job ever. You know, if you characters are just, this is my playground. This is my passion. This is what I feel I was meant to do, and I'm getting to do it. And it just, I can't stress enough how awesome that is.
All right. Next question. Is there anything that you do as a voice actor to prank other voice actors in their booths or in their cars or just anywhere in general?
I get dared to order through drive-thru as the narrator from Dragon Ball Z, which I haven't done. But when I do, I'll videotape it and I'll put it on YouTube because that deserves to be shared. Now, that will obviously depend. The joke will depend on how well the person taking my order is having. What kind of day is that person having? Are they going to go along with it? Or are they going to start laughing? Or are they just like, thank you, drive-thru? And they're like, oh, really? Come on, have some fun, have some fun. J. Michael Tatum apparently does this as well. And like, no, he does it. I'm just like too nervous. I feel bad. You know, I don't like pranking people really. But sometimes voice actors will leave bombs, as in they'll record their line in an alternate way that I'm seeing on the script and I'm hearing it in my headphones. And then it's like they say something really X-rated all of a sudden. And then I'm supposed to look, blah, and then I blow the take. That happens. And sometimes I've been asked by the director to record a bomb for the next actor coming in and whatnot. And they say, oh, yeah. Then the next time I come in, they'll say, oh, yeah, remember that thing that you left for Johnny Bosch? Well, he cracked up for 5 minutes and whatnot. So it's fun. The outtakes are obviously one of the most treasured things that the fans love. And we love doing it because, hey, we're human. We screw up. Doesn't matter if you've been doing it for a year or been doing it for 30 years. We screw up all the time. Doesn't matter how prepped you are. It's not like stage work where you have to get it perfect and the audience watches. We can blow takes, and boy, do we. We take advantage of the fact that technology's on our side, and if you blow a take, the video will instantly queue up right to where it was. In the old days on Dragon Ball Z, we were using broadcast beta, physical tape. So if you blew a take, it would have to rewind on the machine, and it was very loud, and like, and then would just go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, trying to find the frame, and it would kind of almost get it. Took forever. So we could do a lot less in more time. But now we've streamlined it. Thank you, technology.
All right. So last question. If there is something that you could change about the industry, what would that be?
Well, with the internet, it's obviously changed the way that we consume media. We're an on-demand society now. I never thought we would be like that. I thought we'd always be slaves to when the networks want us to watch something. But the internet has changed. It's also created, unfortunately, an entitled generation where people just think that because it's out there and because it's a few clicks away, they have a right to do that. So obviously, I'm going to leave that to everyone's personal decision, whether they want to download, millions of dollars worth of projects and have them on their hard drive. But if you consider yourself a fan, buy these shows, give back to the system. These artists do this for a living. Anime and manga is an art form. And, it's not like the Hollywood system where like you buy a bootleg and then suddenly their sales are hurt. It's a different thing because it's so niche. It's so niche. It's such a very specific, it's like 1% of the entire entertainment medium. So piracy affects it very, very drastically. So I get that we're a try it before you buy it thing. So that's why Funimation makes this great compromise. They'll put the first 4 episodes online for free so you can try a show out. And then you're like, all right, cool. And so you either subscribe to Crunchyroll or Funimation, which is probably cheaper than buying the discs or DVDs or Blu-rays or whatever. But digital downloads are also optional too. I mean, when you go to a fan site and they say, oh, become a premium member, your money is going to pay their server cost. None of that money is going to the creators. So think about that. If that were your show or your comic book and it was just distributed online for free and you'd spent years, blood, sweat, and tears and money and all of that possible income gone, that's the impact that piracy has. So I would say, you could consider yourself a fan, buy merchandise. You say, well, DVDs, it all costs too much. I understand that. It's imported. It's from Japan. But when you buy official merchandise, wall scrolls, things that cost less than a DVD, that sends a message back to Japan that you want the machine to sustain itself. It's going to implode, and studios have in the past because people will call themselves fans. This is a great show. And then we have to license it because look at the fan buzz. And then they produce the dub and produce the DVDs and put it out there, and then their sales tank. Ironic? Yes. But Japan is coming to terms with this because it's a global market. So now you see much shorter, tighter windows and more experimental things such as Space Dandy, which is a huge hit in the States. I have no idea for Japan, but having a show debut simultaneously in English and Japanese, that's helped curbing the piracy market. That's pretty awesome. Hopefully it's going to, you're going to have to create new avenues for digital distribution. And Japan is warming up to it. It's been scary because of the piracy thing for years. But yeah, I think we can all work together, fans and the companies that make the projects for us. So that's basically my message. Much love.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for doing this interview. I've been a massive fan of your work for multiple years. Again, this has been Anime Convention Video. We will see you next time, and thank you for watching.
Hey, it's Kyle Herbert, the narrator from Dragon Ball Z, and you're watching ACV.